In today's lesson, we're going to learn how to use Divi. What's up, everybody? Sean here with Fistbump Media, and welcome back to another Fistbump Quick Tips. Today, we're going to talk about how to use Divi. Divi is a theme builder and a theme that we use on a lot of our websites, and a lot of our clients use it to either build their website, build their blog posts, or both. Today's not going to be a full tutorial over going on all the features of Divi because that would take a very long time. But we're going to talk a little bit about how we can change out images, how we can change out text, backgrounds, and just get into the general settings if you fall into the back end of Divi and you're wondering what all these little blue and green boxes are. We're just going to discuss that a little bit today. So won't worry too much with the details. Let's hop into it.
Alright, so here we are on the dashboard of our Fistbump QuikTips website. So in this lesson, what I want to talk about is just how we can work within the back end of Divi if you have Divi on your website, and how we can make some little tweaks and changes if you just want to change out an image, change out some text, and we're going to talk about just the real basics of getting into the settings on a page. So if we want to edit a page, there's two ways to get there. One way, we can always go to Pages, All Pages, and then we find the page we want and we hit Edit. Now, that's only if we know the name of the page. Sometimes if we have a lot of pages, it's hard to know maybe what the name of it is. A real easy way to get there is just go to your site. If you know exactly where the image is that you want to change, and we'll say it's over here on our sample page. And so once we're there, we can just go right up here where it says Edit Page. Now if we do that, that's going to take us into the backend editor of Divi. And it may look a little complicated. I promise it's not that complicated. But this is what the backend editor of Divi will look like. Obviously, if you have more content on the page, it'll look a little bit more different than this. But so in the back end of your site, or how websites in general are structured, you're going to have a section, a row, and then the modules within the body portion of your website. So you'll have a header at the top of your website, you'll have a footer, and this will be the entire body section of your website. And within that body, you have sections, rows, and then for Divi, we have modules. So I'll show you what that means here. So if this is what the backend looks like, we just have these bars, but a real easy way to find out which image you want to change, especially if you have a lot of images and they're all just going to be labeled image, is we can go to this little icon here. It looks just like a computer screen, and that's going to open up this, which looks pretty much exactly what the back end of your, or the front end of your website would look like. And it makes it real easy to say, this is the image I wanted to change. Boom, I can go in and change it. Now, alternatively, if we wanted to edit things, we could also just do it on the front end of our website. So when we go into the page where it says Edit Page, we can also hit this button right here, which right now it says Exit Visual Builder, but normally it would say Enter the Visual Builder, and that'll take you to this. And we have all the settings we need to make changes to the website. So anything we want to make changes to, whether it's the section. If we want to change section settings, we can hit the little gear icon. We can go in here, we can add a link to it. We can change the name on the back end of it, or we can add a background, color, image, gradient, video, whatever we want. And we'll talk about that more in just a minute. Same with the row settings. If we want to change any of the row settings, we can always go in here and add and make those changes. And we can also add columns. So a row has the advantage where it can add multiple columns. So we could add different things on this side and different things on this side, depending on how we wanted to make the site. But for this instance, we don't want to do that. So we're just going to delete that second row. And then each of these little black boxes is called a module. So this is a text module. This is an image module, another text module, and Divi has a whole bunch of different modules. So we're not going to go through all of them today, but the basics ones are the text and the images. So Anything we want to change in there, we just hit that button, that little gear icon, and it takes us into those settings. Now, just a word of advice, for the most part, I would stick with the Content tab. Design tab gets you into some areas where if you don't know what you're doing, you can make things look real strange, and so just be careful there. Advanced tab you shouldn't need to mess with unless you really know what you're doing. So Content tabs where you're just going to change what it says, what is actually there. Design, we can maybe change some colors and stuff. So we'll go over that in a minute. But yeah, so when we want to change any settings, again, we can go into the front end, we can go into the back end, find that little gear icon on either the section, the row, or most often you're going to want to change information in the modules themselves. Those are going to be your images, your videos, your buttons, all those things are going to be modules. So, all right, so the next section we're going to talk about is how to edit the text. Now, text is fairly easy to edit, especially for our bloggers. The text editor looks very similar to what the text editor looks like when you're making a blog post. It's just the WordPress editor, or at least the classic WordPress editor. So for this one, I put a heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, and then some body text. And as you can see, there's no image down here because that's actually a separate module. So we put the text in one module, we got an image in the middle, then we added some more text at the bottom. Now, a real easy way to, obviously, if you want to change any text, you can do it right here, and you can change that text however you want. I think most of you can figure that part out, but if you want to change maybe the color, the size, the font of a text, we have these little blue brush icons. Now, those will only pop up when we have the module settings open. Right now you can see there's no icons, so we have to make sure we have that module settings open, and then we can hit this brush icon and it'll take us right to our heading 1 settings. And then once we're in there, we can change the font to whatever we want. Maybe we want it to be able. We can change the weight of it, and we can also change maybe if we want a drop shadow on there, don't want a drop shadow, and then the size of our text. So you can play around with these settings. You're not really going to mess anything up by doing that. If you want to change your heading 2 settings, you can always click right there. It's going to jump you over to this tab. And then body text, you can click that and it's going to take you into just the general body text settings. And then you can change the colors down here and all that stuff. So fairly straightforward. Once you're done with that, you're always going to hit this green check mark and that'll save your changes. I'm just going to hit the X for now so that we can go back to how it was. Alrighty, so that's how we would change some text on our website. Now lastly, the thing I want to talk about is images and backgrounds. We get a lot of questions about people wanting to change out an image on their website. How do I do that? And typically I'll just go in, or Dan or one of our other workers will go in and help you with that. We'll just change out the image if you have it. However, if you want to change things out more often and maybe want to know how to do it yourself, it's very easy to do. And all we have to do is go up here and hit this, for a background. So look at this section. We have this entire section. We can tell that's a background because it covers from edge to edge, and it's behind our row, it's behind our modules, it's behind everything. So that's going to be a background on our section. So we go up here, and right here it says background. Boom. We can change out that background to whatever we want. So if we want to go in here and say maybe use that image, we can make that our background now. So there we go. We changed out the background image. Very simple, very straightforward. And you can do that with whatever image you want. Obviously, if you want to add a new image, if maybe you don't have one on here you like, you can always hit this tab and hit upload, select the file you want, and add it and make that your background. All right, I'm going to go. All right. So that's how we change a background. Now we see this white border or white box behind our text. That's also a background. It's not an image, but in this case, we made just a background color. If you wanted to get rid of that, or you wanted to make it an image, if you wanted an image there, you could obviously hit this little button right here. That's our add background image. But to change the color, we can go over here. We can make it red if we wanted to. and then we have this little slider here, and we can adjust how clear the opacity on it. I'm not going to save that, but that's how you would change the background on that portion of a row or a section. And then lastly, this here is actually an image module. So a lot of times you may want to change out images within a page that aren't a background. You're just going to go to your module settings, and again, there's the image. You can pick a new one. Say we want that one. So we upload that image. Boom, there we go. We got the image changed out. So very easy. And so that's how we can make some quick adjustments to the website.
All right, I hope that was helpful. Hopefully that gave you a little bit of a feel for what you can do with Divi. Obviously, there's a million things you can do with it, and there's so many more tools that we didn't get a chance to go over today. We're going to do more videos like this. We'll get a little bit more in depth with Divi as we go, as well as discussing other things. But hopefully that gives you a little bit of a chance to get in there. You can change out an image, you can change some text, and you'll at least have an idea what you're doing. You won't have to worry about breaking something, and we can make some tweaks to the websites that maybe we've been wanting to do. So hope everyone's doing great. If you have any questions, you can always hit us up at support@fistbumpmedia.com. Hit the little button in your dashboard, leave us a comment below, contact us through social media, however you need. We're always here to help. All right, peace.